I am at the new FITSI Edge, Maryland Edge, I think is the official name, right?
Yes.
And if you're not aware, Frederick has always had a business startup incubator. I was actually a part of it way back in 2008 on Metropolitan Court near English Muffin Way. But now the brand new facility is stunning and is on Ballinger Center Drive. And I'm here with Vanessa. And I'll need an interpreter for most of what she talks about because she's very, very smart. And science is, you say it's not, we're not looking for more women. I mean, obviously we love more women in science, but it's not lacking.
Yes.
In women in science, which is
well,
awesome.
In the educational sphere.
Yeah.
When it comes to education, when it comes to being in the science field, there's a lot less of us.
Right.
But mainly it comes down to a lot of family commitments, and science isn't really a field that has a lot of part-time jobs in it.
Yeah, you're either all committed or you're not, right? You're either full in or not. So you have a long history with science, 2 master's degrees, and you moved to Frederick because you have a husband who is committed to the service, which we thank him for that, and you
he's
as
a scientist
family.
too.
Yeah, great.
Yes.
Of course y'all are. That makes perfect sense, actually. Coming from, you said there were no scientists, but there were educators in your family, so that makes kind of sense to me. But so you guys moved up here right before the pandemic, and you said, "Oh my gosh, I need to do something."
Yeah.
And that led you to?
So basically, I missed being in the lab, and I missed teaching, and I missed people. So when the stimulus rolled around and we had a little bit of extra money, I contacted a science company, and they were willing to sell me science equipment to my home.
Oh, wow.
Which is the hard part.
I was going to say, I'm sure there was some paperwork with that.
Yeah, so certain companies, yes, certain companies, no. So I found the company that would, and I bought bare minimum, and I started with 4 students teaching protein purification in my dining room table. And
what is that? What is?
So the students basically would take DNA, they would put it in bacteria and make the bacteria glow with a protein. And then we could pull that protein out, and then they could purify it to make it by itself. And so we were doing that all at my dining room table. And so about 2 years into that, I really wanted to run a biotech intensive. But not a lot of people want to show up to your house. I asked around in one of the Frederick pages, and somebody said, "Hey, you really should check out FITSI." I eventually joined, and then I've been running classes here for the past year.
That's unreal. But people are interested in this, that they have access to someone with your skill set is just phenomenal. Like, really, it is.
Most students are not going to have access to any biotechnology until they're typically a junior or a senior in high school. And they're typically only going to make that available to students who are higher performing students, so the AP level students. So you're missing a large segment of the population that might be interested.
You don't have to be an AP student
to
love and enjoy these sciences and be successful.
Well,
I'm
and
assuming. Is that true or not true?
I can go all the way down to middle schoolers, and I have children in elementary school. My children have been exposed to it, so I know it can be done. It's a little bit easier to implement in the middle school years, but I think it's hard too because the public schools have benchmarks, and they have to meet certain things, and they have to make sure they have those basics. Unfortunately, we lose some of the fun stuff. And so my goal is to bring the fun stuff at earlier ages, where students around middle school are going to start to not be interested in science anymore. So let's show them some glowing bacteria. I'll be running a camp. I'll have middle schoolers. They're going to be purifying protein. They will be testing fish DNA to make sure it's the actual fish they say it is. They'll be testing their own genes. So if we have the time, if we have the equipment, it can be implemented at younger levels.
Having access to, again, making these professions that you wouldn't necessarily classify as fun, make them fun and interactive and kind of cool, I think. And those types of things that you're doing seem very cool to me. And I would like go, hey, I want to make protein glow or whatever. And that you can do that in a week's camp. That's pretty impressive too, right? So the company you founded is called?
So it started out as Hobbs Science Tutorial, but it got a little too big for for me wanting my name in it.
Yeah.
So we have changed our name to Serious About Science.
Serious About Science.
Yes.
I like that. Serious About Science. It has a good ring to it. And your goal for that this year is to do what? What would you like to achieve?
So my goal is to be able to develop things that can move outside of Frederick. So right now I can develop classes with Clifton, with Living Well Youth Works, or with the local nonprofit called Cells. There's those organizations I can work with here. Being able to implement science kits that move beyond making slime.
Yeah.
Anyone can make slime. I just want to make it interesting and build it to the students versus making all the students fit into the science box.
Yeah, very interesting. And do you feel like you're on your way kind of proving the concept with people here and then being able to put it in a literal box and ship it to people?
Well, that's the hard part. Once you start doing that, then that's a whole, there's advertising,
She says that like I say science.
Yes, exactly, or English. When you said that.
Exactly. We all have our skills, right? And expertise.
Yes.
which is awesome, right? There's space for everybody. Are there camps or times that people who are watching can access you? What is the,
Yes. So I have a website, and if you go to my courses page, you can see the biotechnology camp that is available. Also, if you sign up for my email list or also log on, there's a free forensic blood typing lab that you can do at home using milk and vinegar. And so there's lots of ways that I would like to basically make science interesting again.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, if science was fun and interesting like this, to me, that's the way I learn. Are you doing virtual?
Yes, so I do have a virtual class coming up in the fall. I have a version where it's just lecture and some hands-on at-home things. And then I also have the one where you can buy a complete kit that, I'm sending you the pig fetus so you can do an autopsy on a fetal pig.
Yeah.
You're doing toxicology in a urinalysis lab, and
I'd love to see the forms you had to submit to UPS or USPS to get, hey,
small
I'm
amounts
sending
of chemicals are okay. And my UPS guy's probably very concerned about it.
I bet. Like, oh boy, I'm gonna make a note of this delivery. That's great though. Producing people who are gonna potentially cure diseases tomorrow, right?
Yes, and these students their brains aren't in that box that we as adults are. And this is the generation that's going to cure cancer and many conditions that we would not have even thought of. And so being able to get them early, and so think about it. If you have a family member that's ill with some type of disease, you're going to research it. You become an expert on that. Kids can do that, and they can put that into play in ways that we can't.
100%, I believe. It's certainly when you definitely are focused on, hey, my sister has this cancer, or my brother has this condition, and how can we solve it? That's a lot of motivation for young people. Now, your motivation was just pure wanting to know?
I'm a science nerd.
You are a science nerd.
I can't.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, I feel like I've never been further away from somebody in scope and so connected in other ways. It's so amazing how our brains work, really. But now you were telling me a little bit about your study in neuroscience and what you were studying. Has there been anything in your course of education that you went, holy crap, I can't believe that's what happened? Or have you always kind of said, this has turned out exactly the way I thought it would?
Nothing in life has turned out exactly the way I thought.
Okay, at least I feel good about that. We're on the same plane there.
No, because 20-year-old me was going to work at the FBI, and and then that's not what it turned into. Right. Okay. So I've been able to keep the interest of forensics and instill that in my own children. And so I can kind of live through them, and they get to do the things that interested me around that age. But I did not see myself being in education. That was not where I intended to go. That's just kind of where it settled. Which is life.
Well, it is life. And life pushes on paths that we might not have predicted, but at the time, then you go, hey, okay, this is pretty cool. Well, this is pretty cool. So we're in the lab.
Yes. This is the educational space. And so this is where I'll sometimes hold classes. I do them here as well as in the conference room over at the Metro location. And so I basically have a mobile biotech lab where I can run them both, and I lug them from location to location.
Yeah, but it's great. I mean, again, giving people access where they wouldn't have normally been able to get as far in their research or studies or whatever, having access.
I would say that it's a lot harder to commit crime now than it used to be. I do think that we as a society need to do a better job of bringing our science curriculum and including these techniques a lot earlier than just saving it for the people who make straight A's.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody deserves to be able to do this.
Yeah.